Hey everyone, it looks like we are live. I hope you are all having a great week. We made it to yet another Wednesday. That is so great. I'm so happy to be here and to continue working on this painting, which I'm loving. But I'm not sure, just how we're going. I'm kind of going to decide with you guys here. So that's really cool. Dan, how you doing all the way from Indianapolis? How are you today, my friend? Great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Patty from Illinois, how are you today? Mr. Dave, Mr. Gregory, how you doing? All the way from Texas. So glad you're here. A package got sent out to you today, and so we'll talk about that. But thank you for your patience. So I got a package going out for you today. Hopefully it'll get to you pretty quickly. And Texas, I'm not too sure. Mr. Rick Lotta, how you doing from Canada? Great to see you. So we have Canada, Texas, Illinois, Indiana in the house. Great to see everyone. Thank you so much for hanging. Really appreciate yous. So I was saying in the very beginning, I'm not sure how I'm going to resolve this. I'm very pragmatic in my painting, but dealing with complex backgrounds like this, it's not always that easy. Mr. John Diekman, all the way from Wisconsin, how are you? Great to see you, sir. How you been? We have Mr. Roy Johnson. How's everything? Great to see you from New Jersey. How are you doing, sir? So, what a great group already. I'm so happy. I really appreciate you. And Colette, all the way from the Atlanta area. Great to see you, Colette. How are you? So, it's such a great group already. I'm so excited. Just 2 minutes into the live stream. How amazing is this to hang with everybody? And so I'm excited. And so, Raul from Jersey, fellow Jersey guy. How's it going, Raul? You're doing some incredible work out there, man. You just really kicking butt. Really amazing. Beautiful stuff. So that is exciting. And so I'm glad to have Raul in the house. So we're going to do a lot of airbrushing today. Yes, last week we did a lot of paintbrushing. So let's do some airbrushing today. And working on this background, it's interesting, right? It really is. Mr. Dave says, thanks, Tim. It's been a busy week. Kentucky yesterday, Texas today, Pennsylvania tomorrow, through the weekend. Then you get a couple of weeks in Texas before hitting Kansas, Nevada. Oh my goodness. And California. That's amazing. Wow, you are a busy gentleman. So that's cool. I'm glad you get to see different parts of the country. That's exciting. So that's really cool. But I'm sure it gets exhausting too, Dave, huh? Um, so yeah, so make sure you get your rest and everything like that. Traveling like that is not always easy. I usually travel to the supermarket and I'm done, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with the Wicked paint because I love Wicked paints, that is. And let's see. I really love the Wicked Detail Sepia, if I can find it. That's a really great color. Do I do I get an amen from anyone out there? Hey there, a shot of inspiration. How are you today? So yes, we have 0070 Detail Sepia. It's kind of light, not much left in here. That's because it's so good. How many people have used Detail Sepia with the Wicked line? Wendy, happy belated birthday for you. Great to see you, Wendy. So it comes out a little bit on the thick side, so that's when you get your friend in mine, 4011, and I just have to locate 4011. It always eludes me, or tries to, and Oh, I think I see some. Yes, we got some 4011 right here. I like doing with the Wicked 3 or 4 to 1, and we're going to shake it up, and sometimes I'll go ahead and put in some 4050 in there, but I don't think so. Not this time. And we're going to let that cook for a few minutes. And so this is going to allow me to get some of the darks in here, which is really great. And so that is cool. And so let me go ahead and get my glasses. Be right back. Okay, drinking a lot of water lately. Mr. Michael McClung, how's it going? Great to see you. She's still sleeping on the train. She needs to get some sun, right? That's for sure. I'm going to use the Extreme Patriot Extreme Patriot Arrow. So I'm doing the Drew Blair method, which is when I'm done for the night, I clean out the cup, spray it till it sprays clean, leave water in there, and the next day get rid of it and start working again. And so that's really cool. Let's see. Yes, definitely blame the MTA, Dave. That's for sure. Mark Dietz, how's it going? How are you, sir? I'm so glad to see you. And Mark, you are from Canada, if I got it right. I might have not get it right. Sorry, Mike, if I didn't. Eventually I will, and then it's mine forever. So great to see you, Mark. Thanks for coming by. Always a pleasure to hear from you. And we do have somebody here. A shot of inspiration. Where are you from, if you don't mind? I always like hearing where people are from. It's always cool to see different parts of the world, even, that come to the live streams. So I'm going to do a quick test just to see if the airbrush is working correctly. Okay, it's very diluted, so I may put a little more of this sepia in there. And we're just going to slowly kind of put some meat on the background, right? It's all skull and bones right now as far as the background is concerned. So we're just going to kind of darken things up. Calgary, yes! Alright. I got Canada, so that was good, right? So that's great. I was worried. I was like, I thought it was Canada. So this is a very light sepia, but we can, you know, go ahead and darken the ceiling, kind of give a sense of atmosphere, you know. Oh, thank you, Patty says don't forget to hit the like button. I appreciate that. Just gonna darken this up, and the sepia gives us a nice sense of space. And it's a nice neutral tone. Mr. Michael, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I really appreciate that. That helps out the channel and keeps me going. And I just want to say thank you for hanging out. And just your Farrah Fawcett was out of this world, I have to say. I really enjoyed the Farrah paintings. You really caught a different side of her. You caught her, but a different side to her. Very sensitive. So definitely I can tell you were one of the guys with the Farrah Fawcett poster. My friend had it. I wasn't allowed to have it. But I remember that poster. That was out of this world. Oh my God. Oh, so Shot of Inspiration says it won't show up on this. Says something went wrong. Oh, uh, oh, what exactly went wrong? That's a bummer. Yes, you know what? That was she was such a anomaly, right? It was a lot of friends had it. Yeah, I always, wanted to go over to their house for some reason, and see that poster. And back then, you didn't have the internet, or we didn't have the internet or anything, so you had to go to your friend's house to see that image. Now you can just go on your phone. So the Drew Blair method really works, you know, so far. We're doing it for 2 weeks, and I'm just, you know, parking the airbrush with water in it, and not taking the airbrush apart, and that has been the bulk of my maintenance so far. Yeah, I'm actually perplexed, I mean, I didn't think it would work. It just is so counterintuitive, isn't it? I tried to like you on that channel too. Let's see. That's funny. And we're just gonna keep, and then I'm gonna come in with uh, my orange mixture. See how it works with this, you know? And I'm gonna come in with a different color that's a little bit darker because we have to do some of the darker aspects of this. And I want today to be an airbrush day. I don't want to be doing too much paintbrush. So great conversation going on, and the trick is not to get overwhelmed, right? Just stick with it. And so the Wicked detail sepia is just so incredible. I mean, 10 out of 10, you know? It really is probably one of the best airbrush colors out there. Has anyone done a painting just using Wicked detail sepia? That one might be interesting. Would anyone want to see that? Ooh, that reacted weird to that color on the neck. Wendy says she's wicked. Yes, it does count, Wendy, definitely. But you're not wicked. You're nice. Okay. And all right. So let's expel this detail sepia. And so I picked up these little cups. Mr. Roy from Color Graphics told me about it. And it's really great, so you can take some of this detail sepia and then you have it for later. And you know, I can put like an S on here, I think. Let's see. No, it doesn't show up. Well, hopefully I'll remember it's detail sepia. Okay, but I think a Sharpie would be really good with that. So I want to go a little bit darker than detail. Let's go with detail smoke. I like that. And we have a little bit of sepia left in there. So we'll shake this up really good. Oh, Michael says he just got them himself. The 4021. Oh, right. I haven't tried the 4021. I have so much for 4011. But I hear great things about the 4021, that's for sure. I'm going to dilute this 2 to 1. And I'm going to dilute it with the 4011. And as soon as I find my little painting knife, we're going to mix it. Oh, a piece of tape. Thanks, Roy. That's a great idea. Roy comes out with great ideas. I appreciate that, sir. Ooh, that has a weird smell to it. Ooh, that smells rancid. I'm not spraying this. Sometimes these colors go bad, so I am not going to spray that. It just smells really terrible. So I am going to put this aside. That does happen. What happens is I was unable for a time period to store mine upright, so I stored it on the side, and it tended to kind of go bad on me. So that's basically what happened. I have this detail magenta, and that's a nice dark color, and it's going to do something really interesting, kind of give some life. It's black magenta, and I'm going to dilute it. Mr. Brad, how are you today? Great to see you. That doesn't want to open. Okay. Some of our detail black magenta, which is a great color. Really love it. And we're going to get that 4011. I'm going to dilute this about 3 to 1. And just give a little life, and we'll just see how it is. You know, it's always good to experiment with color. I'm going to get rid of the detail sepia that's still in the brush here. We'll see how this goes. Hey, Cheese Grits and NyQuil, how's it going? Great to see you. Dennis, how are you? So Dennis all the way from Texas, great to see you. And Mr. Cheese Grits and NyQuil from Massachusetts. So glad you guys are here. Thanks for hanging out. And of course I want to test this out before we commit to our painting. And let's see. See, nice and darker. It is diluted, so it's not going to come out like gangbusters. We'll have to work it. see how we can kind of get some dimension here on the ceiling. It's funny, it's when you're working in a background, it's very similar to doing a landscape. You just have to build it up, you know, different elements, and kind of get that atmosphere. That doesn't happen right away, it takes time. But I love this black magenta because it's dark, but it has life to it. Mr. Ryan, all the way from Canada. How are you, my friend? So we got quite a few really cool people from Canada today. I'm always happy about that. Love my Canadian friends. And this allows me, and you know what? I always want to come back to the figure, right? So while I have this black magenta, I could really put a nice accent on the bottom of this bag of hers. And then down here we have some beautiful lights in the corner. Darks, I should say. Make sure I get this correct. Yes, so Wendy and Patrick know each other. Astral, how's it going? How you doing? Great to see you, yeah? That's the only thing that I don't sound Canadian, but I can say, how you doing, eh? They say that too, right? That's funny. You guys are funny. I'm just going to slowly build atmosphere, and then maybe I can come in with paintbrush techniques and kind of tighten things up. But right now it's all about getting the atmosphere. And I remember last week we did that Steve Leahy technique here. Let's see. Get this edge here. There we go. So you can nice get an edge. Then we can come back with some of the white. Maybe even we'll see if we need with this, as far as blue shift, will we need the orange mixture, and we'll experiment to see that. You know, we're not sure, but there's only one way to find out. A little bit of spidering. There we go. At this stage, there's a lot of paint on the surface, so if you do make a mistake like that, you can always just kind of wipe it off. put some detail in the abstract shapes out the window. And clean up the darks that we put in with the paintbrush. Kind of uneven. We can even them out. Still has that kind of sepia look to it when I put in the shadows here. Let's see what I missed. Very cool. Since I have this dark color, I'm not sure how it's going to react to her hair, but let's see. I'm going to lower the pack valve a little bit. I get some fairly decent detail here. See, I'm always trying to sneak in and work on her face and her body, you know. Mr. Air Todd, how's it going? Great to see you. And Mr. Astral, how is your son doing in Canada? Ryan says, Tim, you have always been a Badger guy, or have you tried other brushes? Yes, for I would say a good 9 years I was an Iwata guy, and worked with Iwata, and you know, really enjoyed them. And you know, I had to save up my money to get my custom microns, you know. I mean, really, like 6-7 months I would save to get my custom microns. I love the eclipses, but my favorite was the side feed eclipse. I just felt it had better detail in the other eclipses. Plus the eclipse that was the gravity feed, did not like that too much because uh, the trigger would get stuck, and I didn't like that. But you know, I was happy overall. They were very temperamental. You know, you sneeze and your nozzle breaks, and that's $50 back then. So I basically was playing around with different airbrushes, the Sotar 2020 Slim, and then it was this brush, and in its native form, it looks nothing like this. And when I first tried the Extreme Patriot Arrow, I still was an Iwata guy, and a friend called Gaston Graff from from Europe told me that you can interchange parts with the Badger, and I was like, no way. And then when I did that, I was able to really come up with my own airbrush, but I felt that the DNA of the Extreme Patriot Arrow was like out of this world, and the rest is history. And still love Iwata, but you know, I really developed this airbrush to be exactly what I wanted, so I knew what a good airbrush was. You know, I knew what a fantastic detail airbrush was because I owned two custom microns. I owned the Highline with the Mac valve. I owned the HP, the High Performance, and the gravity feed and the side feed eclipses. So I did come from knowledge of, other airbrushes, but those are the only airbrushes I really tested was Iwata and Badger. And Air Todd, it's so great to see you. How's weather over there in San Diego? Gary, how's it going all the way from Hershey, Pennsylvania? How are you, sir? Always a pleasure to see you. How's life out there? Are you guys getting the cold weather like we are? I think you are, right? It was like, it's actually 66 degrees here now. Other parts of the country, you're probably saying, no way. And as you can see, we're starting to get some of the atmosphere. 72, yes, chilly. That's for sure. And Michael says Tim's brush is performing really good for him, but he still can't get his portraits to turn out as good as Tim. You know what? I beg to differ. I think you are really doing amazing. I mean, with that Farrah Fawcett. Has anyone seen Mr. Michael's Farrah Fawcett? Just breathtaking. And listen to this. Dave will be at Hershey Park on Saturday with the family. That is great. That's really cool. I work in different ways. Sometimes I'll work in one area and kind of go from that one area. And like now I'm working, kind of doing the ensemble and then coming in and working on the parts, right? And this way, working in this way is good because you get the relationships. And we have to make her stand out, right? We're working on the background, but we can't let that go, and that's important. Yes, a nice break from the 70s as well. Guys, I have to go check on something. I will be right back. I have a hold button here which says I'll be right back. Hold on for me, guys, and sorry for the delay. There we go, and I believe we're back, and so that's pretty cool. I kind of like that pause button. Oh, the cat's in the other room sleeping. So, she never bothers me when I'm live streaming. She always goes to the other room, so she knows. That's funny. Hey Tone, great to see you. How are you? All the way from New York. So glad you're here. And Patty left. Take care, Patty. I didn't see you go. Uh, yes, that's true. You guys hit the pause button, right, Mike? That's funny. And so we are back, and we're just going to continue a little bit with this dark color here, and that should be cool. And let's see, let's make this happen here. Now, why don't I continue with the paintbrushes, because there's no medium in the world that gives you a feeling of atmosphere like the airbrush, right? And doing my best, working hard, and how about yourself? Are you airbrushing again, my friend? Oh, and Wendy says she's always afraid of the laser might do eye damage. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, Michael says he pointed his laser pointer at the TV and did not see the cat. Down here, it's a little bit darker. So we got to create that kind of soft atmosphere back here. And I really love this black magenta because it helps, with the Gary, thank you so much, my friend, for the super chat. I really appreciate that, sir. Thank you, thank you. That helps the channel and keeps things going. And I just want to say I really, really appreciate you. And I'm going to hit this, and there is this button right here. Oh, okay, I'm able to say like to it. Thank you so much, Gary. I was able to put a like there. And there's these other buttons here. What does that do? Oh, okay, cool. So I was able to like it. That's a new feature where I can like the super chat. Let me see if I can get to Michael's. Up, I kind of lost the opportunity with Michael's. Sorry about that. But now I know that I can actually hit that. Gary, thank you so much for hanging out and your friendship and your support. It is incredibly, incredibly appreciated. Just want to say thank you, sir. And your support means everything. It keeps me going. I was saying earlier, sometimes you wonder when things are really going to click. You work so hard, as we all do, and you just wonder, when is it, when is the ice going to break? Just a little crack, right? Just a little crack. When's that going to happen? We don't know. But, seeing you guys, being at the super chats, you know, being generous and supportive with the super chats and hanging out, that really gives me energy to keep going. It really does. I'm going to use this black magenta on her legs. Put a little contrast there. And let's see. Then we have these kind of vertical lines here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to test out the waters. What do you all think is going to happen when we add the orange mixture to this sepia here? Let's hear what you have to say. Is it going to be a wicked blue shift, or is the orange going to be okay, or is it actually going to come out orange? So I'm testing it out myself with you all, and we'll see how it goes. I'm just looking for my trusty bottle of orange mixture, which everyone knows. I've been using this since January 24th. That's a long time. Michael says, by watching you do portraits, it helps him out tremendously to do portraits. Oh, wow, that makes me feel good, because you're really kicking butt with the portraits. I mean, big time. So I'm going to get a cup, and we're going to put this into the 105. It has the same needle nozzle combination, but it has the big cup. See, here's the water that's in there from yesterday. I gotta hand it to Drew. This is incredible. Now, what I'm gonna do, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Wendy. Thank you for that wonderful compliment. I love portraits. You know, when I was a little kid, I loved portraits. And that was what I wanted to do. When I started painting superheroes, I started doing portraits of Wonder Woman and Red Sonja and, you know, all the beautiful women of Marvel. And yeah, so that really got me going with portraits. And Gary says, I'll guess you get an orange peel. Hey, it could happen. Let's see. Now, I did dilute this a little bit more. Maybe 1-to-1 from the bottle I have. Because it has been sitting there since January, so it's like 8 months old, right? So let's see. This is really amazing, the Drew Blair method of maintaining your airbrush without really maintaining it, which is, I'm all for it. So let's zoom in on here, and we're going to kind of get some life in this sepia here. Okay, like right here, I'll zoom in on my reference, because we have to do that 1 second rule, right? That's a must. And Wendy says they scared her to death. You can't help so much. Oh, wow. So what scared you to death? Was it my portraits? And let's see. We're going to come right here. Oh, look at that. So I'm not getting any orange in the white. So it's actually lightening it up as we want to. So that's good news, guys. Here we're getting a little bit of a blue shift, but just tiny bit. And let's see, Wendy says her doing portraits, not your portraits. Oh, I love your portraits, Wendy. You kidding? I think you do great portraits. My goodness, they're fantastic. Now, what's really cool with this white mixture, with the orange and white mixture, is you could set up glazes, which is really nice. So I can come in here and kind of lighten this up, and then go back in with a sepia and get like interesting effects and stuff like that. Here I could lighten up this area, kind of make it look like there's different signs here, right? I can do that. Let's see what it's going to do with purple's a tricky color, because you know it really is. It does have some red in it, but it's really going towards blue. So I think we might get more of the orange color here. No, it's coming out more on the light purple side here. And we'll zoom out. And let's see. So yeah, so we got some nice nice technique here. And then I can come back in with the purple and create some interest. I can kind of chill out on this sign here. And yeah, so it's okay. You know, there's still some adjustments. You have to play it by ear when you're doing the orange mixture because it's going to react differently to different colors. And Michael says that orange and white mixture that really stays white for, yeah, you know, it really is. You have to find that sweet spot. So here's mine: 20 drops of the uh, 20 drops of the illustration 50/50 white, and then 2 drops of the illustration orange. That works really well. And so it's that. So you just do that, and you just, you know, increase the ratios and the amount, and that's it. You know, it's great. It works really well. And Astral says, what is the white in the orange mix? Oh yeah, so I just went over that. No, no, Mr. Leahy. I know he's been working really hard, so he must be taking a night off probably. Um, so I know he, you know, he has like 3 things going per week. I teach a lot of my students. I mean, I teach all of my students, but I have students that I teach, so that kind of slows me down on Facebook a little bit and YouTube. And I'm going to work on that black back door. And, you know, just kind of giving attention to, you got to give attention to our background. And this came out a little bit on the blue side back here, but we can go over that. Wow, Mr. Gregory, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you, and I hope you have a great weekend with your family. That's going to be amazing. So I sent you a package, and then I'll be in touch with you because I have to send you a second package. So we'll talk on that. But sent you some really good things you're going to love in the first package. The second package is going to be great. And I want to talk about one other thing with you. I'm going to email you. That's going to be the great way to do it. And Dave and Gary and Michael, thank you so much for the encouragement. It's the encouragement that really keeps me going. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys so very much. I appreciate the fact you hang out with me, and I appreciate the fact that you find in your heart to support what I'm doing and what this live stream's about, which is a great community. It really is. So even though I'm lightening this up and it's coming out a little bit on the gray side, that's okay because I'm going to come back in with the sepia, kind of chill this out anyway. Right now it's all about getting atmosphere, and what I'm going to do is, we're going to work on her floor a little bit. It's a little shiny, so we want to get the shininess of the floor. That's going to be very important. And let's see. I do have a stencil to protect her, but I don't want to do that at this point. Right now it's about creating atmosphere. It's not about, you know, worrying about contours at this point. So let's get some of, with this white mixture, just kind of get some of the shininess that's the floor here. And you know, it's an interesting thing working in backgrounds. If I just had her like in a gray background, life would be easy. I would just have to worry about her, and but this way I'm creating a full painting, and when you do that, things get a lot more complicated. And let's see, so Mike says, Tim, this is commitment to hold to Wednesday evening and hang out with us. Oh, wow, thank you. and to share my talent and process with you guys. We appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, you know. And Mark says has to go, but thanks Timothy. Good night to you and everyone here. Thanks Mark from Calgary. Take care. I used to watch a show called The Camera Store, and there was a place called The Camera Store in Calgary. I loved it. Calgary's a beautiful city, by the way. And Michael says, yeah, I used that orange and white mixture on the Sally Fields back. Oh, nice. That's great. Yeah, it really is fantastic. So take care, Mark. And so right now, I'm really worrying about the shininess of that floor. And really just worrying about the whole ambiance of this. And, you know, and today still is, because we're not even in the done with the first hour. But it's basically just about getting the atmosphere, and only that can be done with the airbrush, and then refined with the paintbrush. So I think that's important. It's like the killer 1-2 punch, right? The paintbrush and the airbrush, then the paintbrush. And it's, for me, I have to really make sure I'm using both, because I can get involved with the paintbrush and be like, all of a sudden it's like 60% paintbrush, you know? I mean, that's what I'm most comfortable with, the paintbrush. And Astral says, would you say illustration white a warm tint or a cool tint? Illustration white is definitely a cold color. If I was to take illustration white and look at it, I would say it's titanium white, which is a very cold white in the oil painting realm. And it actually has a pigment number. Let's see. I'll get a tube of titanium white here. Let's see if I get lucky and find the titanium white quickly. Yes. So I did get fortunate. So here's a tube of Winsor Newton oil paint, and it is titanium white. And the pigment number on that is PW6. And the thing with this is it has PW6, which is titanium white, and PW4, which is zinc white. So I could imagine that there's some zinc white in there, and so that gives it kind of the transparency. The titanium white is a very opaque color, so it does have some transparency to it. So yeah, and you know, that's interesting. And oh, oil paint, yes, I haven't used gouache since high school. And Gary says, do you ever sell any of your originals? Is your paintings commissioned? Just curious. Yes, so I sell, these are originals, and they're all on sale. And there's a whole bunch on my website, inkflingers.com. And some people will see it on the website or inquire. So all my work is definitely for sale, Gary. And my rates are really low at this point in my career, because I'm in, you know, pay the bills mode. And so the best time to buy work from an artist. I do commission work, but most people will buy my originals. Here's like an original. It's actually very interesting. I'll do my own version of show and tell. But this is, Gary, something I know is going to sell. This is a master copy of the Girl with a Pearl Earring, that famous painting. So this is on wood panel, and it's in oils, just like Vermeer's. And I really tried to learn what Johannes Vermeer was doing, like the 17th century painter. But you can see something like this pretty much should sell pretty fast, and stuff like that's for sale. And so always, uh, I'm always I do commissions a lot. I sell some work. I'm always selling work, but I also do. I also have classes, which is a big part of my income, which I love teaching. Because I learn so much from my students, Gary. It's unbelievable. I just learn a lot. A lot of times, my students teach me some classes more than I teach them, it seems. Because, we all see things differently. And let's see, Emmanuel Godson, how are you? Great to see you. Do I paint women's fluffy? I don't know. I don't think so. Unless it's a commission, then that's different. Uh, oh, so yes. So there's two websites where I have work for sale, Gary. The first one is. Let me get that for you, sir. Thank you so much for the inquiry. I appreciate that. Inkflingers.com. Okay, so that's the first one. And copy. Here we go. And so this is the first one, sir. And right there. And that's also where I sell my inks and everything. That's more of my airbrush. Then I have another site which is more of my pastels and oil paints and whatnot. And I'll get that website for us. And there's some really like low price paintings on there, which is really great. If anyone's interested, I always give it my all. And Patrick says he clicked on one of my fine art prints on metal inks, on metal, links him, and the link is geeked. Huh? Which one? That's a bummer. That happens. Okay, well, we'll work on that, and not sure what happened there, but let's see. And artwork. Yeah, so some of the originals are there, which is really quite inexpensive, but enough about me. Let's go ahead and continue with our demonstration, and that's why I definitely want to teach you guys some techniques and stuff like that. And oh, the first one on the description on this video. Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be a dead link. Thank you for that heads up, sir. That's for sure. So we're still going, so I'm going to come back. Now this still has, now I had the wrong airbrush, so I'm going to come back in with the black magenta. So with the white, kind of cloudies things up, the orange and white mixture. And then we can kind of bring the clarity back, right? It kind of works back and forth, which is good. And we have a shadow, cast shadow over here, which is cool. Okay, so that's really good. Now what we'll do is we can let's see, what would be the best route to go now? Uh, let's go with that purple color. Now, I am going to need the silhouette of her because I don't want to get the purple on her. That would make me sad. So we have her cut out here, and we'll just put her right here. And we're really just going to worry about her legs and her face. That's the real. If we get on her boots, it's no big deal because it's black and it's not really going to affect the color. But on her face, yes, and on her legs, definitely. So we'll just get some of our magnets here. And then we're going to mix that purple. And I really want to kind of bring that seat to life, right? That's important. And let's see, very cool. And there we go. So now what we can do is find that color. So I'm going to find the color of the bench here. Let's see. And I'm looking for the local color. But I want it to be rich, so I'm going to come in with a little stronger color. Okay, so I have this beautiful color, and looking at it, it looks quite magenta. You know, I would say magenta is probably it, so we'll go with that. And let's see here. And okay, so I think I know what to do. So we're looking for a pure magenta. Whether we'll do it with illustration or wicked. I know illustration has a very good magenta. So let me go find that. And while I'm going to find it, I'm going to get a swig of water here. Oh, Emmanuel says he hasn't used his in years, and he's doing a Bob Ross class for his local community center in... Oh, great! And let us know how that goes, sir. And, no, I love Bob Ross. I thought he was fantastic. And so that's very important to, you know, have different mediums. And if you work in oil, it's going to help out your airbrush. If you work in airbrush, it's going to help out your oil. So I'm going to look for the illustration magenta over here. And I do have it. And perfect. So now I'm looking at how I'm going to mix it with that magenta. Okay, do see it. Okay, so we're going to get a cup, and this is the illustration magenta, the old bottle, old school. I've been working with illustration colors since around 2010. Astral says he wants to be rich. Emmanuel says he hasn't. Okay, cool. And, Emmanuel, thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. It's good to see you. Emmanuel, you don't have to, but I always like to know where you're from, you know. It's a way of just letting you know that, you know, you guys matter to me, guys and girls matter to me, and I try and remember where you're from. Just a little quirky thing that I do, but if not, you can be from the world, you know. So now we have our magenta, very strong color, and now I am going to kind of kill that color a little bit. You know, it's funny, I always tend to mix on the lighter side than what I see it. And so why would I mix on the lighter side of what I see it? Because a lot of times it looks much lighter, uh, you know, in the cup. And then when you paint it on the surface, it's much darker. So I find that to be true, you know. We're going to see how this goes. Actually, we're getting really close. It's like that dull grape color, right? Which is really cool. Oh, you're in Dublin, Ireland. Oh, fantastic. You know, my ancestry DNA, I'm like 93% Irish. My grandparents are both from Ireland. Limerick, one side, and the other side is from the north. Let's see. So, we may be related there, Mr. Mr. Godson. So that's cool. And so, good to meet you, sir. Very good to meet you. An honor. So what do? Do we get rid of the white or the dark? Well, the dark's almost empty, so we'll get rid of the dark. And we will come over here. Airbrush is very physical compared to other mediums, right? I feel it's a very physical. Now this is a little on the thick side, so let's thin it out. A little bit more. And it's illustration line, so we don't have to use 4011. We can use water with that. And you guys are great. Very cool combos going on. So it's an interesting purple. I'm going with a little bit more of saturation or chroma, you know, so more of the pure color, less of the gray down color. Now I have my cap. Here's a quick thing, you know, it's just a silly thing, but it's silly because I messed up doing it. I always make sure I clean up that cap, because I put the cap on, it's going to react whatever color's on there, and it could really change my color depending on what color is in the cap and what color is actually on this in the cup. Could really change things quite dramatically. Oh man, Mr. Todd's gonna call it a night. Take care, my friend. So glad to see you all the way from San Diego. And I hope you have a great weekend coming up. You take it easy, be safe, my friend. Alright, so now I gotta get my reference. Always paint from your reference, meaning sometimes I might get, you know, my head, I'm thinking about like what food I'm gonna go get at the supermarket, and my mind is not on my painting. So again, we're going a little more saturation with the cup, and we'll see how that goes. And saturation, not with the cup, saturation with the bench. She's a beautiful young lady, so she needs to have beautiful colors around her. And let's come over here. Bring this down. And I may lighten it, but I definitely will lighten it in areas, but I really wanted to get more saturation. This is more like design, right? So I may change things for design reasons, not necessarily what I see in my reference. So that's always good to do. I'm going to repeat this beautiful purple color in the sign here, over here, bring it down over there, and do the subways have color? Yes, they do, and it's funny. Now they're actually a lot more colorful than they were in the past. You know, because they have like the screens and everything is like digital now. It's very weird. Back in the day when I was in high school, junior high school and high school, living in New York City, and college, we had the subways from like literally like some of them were from like the 1960s. Still had the straps, you know, and the graffiti and everything. It's a much nicer experience now than it was back when I was a kid. Back when I was a kid. Lettuce was 8 cents a head. Let's see. Okay, so I do like it. I think that adds a little bit of intrigue and kind of cleans things up. And let's see how it went. Okay, so yeah, let's see how it looks here on the screen. Okay, so not bad, not bad. Not amazing, but not bad. And we're just gonna keep at it and keep working and do that kind of stuff. And Emmanuel Goodness says he always thinks of MTV when he sees the subways. Like America and all that. Yeah, back in the 80s, right? I think it's probably because MTV came out in the 80s, and that's when the subways really had their character, right, sir? That's probably what it is. And Cheese Grits and NyQuil says, let's just say it's some sort of malted flavor. Oh, what are we talking about flavors here? Oh, Wendy says, really thought that gray was the thing. And food, what about cake? Do the okay, so pretty interesting conversations going on. Wendy says, the smell and taste of the subway. If you get lucky, sometimes the subway is really, really nice. You get on the right train, it just got cleaned, it's really nice. Then it could be like the worst, you know, olfactory experience of your life. So it really is a toss-up sometimes, definitely. Okay, so now we can probably come in with some paintbrush techniques, and we could use the black magenta, and let's get some paintbrushes out, and maybe we can work on some of the tightening of the details here. See how it goes. Like I said, I'm winging it, so you guys are winging it with me, you guys and girls out there. And put this here. Alright, now let's see. Right here. Just kind of bring some life back into this. And kind of move around, and it's interesting, you know, when I'm doing a portrait, it's very pragmatic and I know exactly what to do at one point, but it's interesting when we're doing you know, backgrounds. I just finished an oil painting that was a background, and it's a whole different experience, you know, it's not the same. But I have to tell myself to concentrate on the background today because I want to move around and play and almost spill paint. Ooh, look at her eyes. See, I'm always looking to work on the portrait. That's my weakness or my strength, depending on how you look at it. Oh, 80s music is great, isn't it? Old U2, right? So me and a bunch of friends slept outside of uh, a small concert hall overnight to get U2 tickets, and that was amazing. For the Joshua Tree, we stayed up all night, and that was just amazing. And just keep telling myself, Tim, you're working on the background. And you know, like I said, a lot of times in my career I would just do a gray background. But lately I've been really loving backgrounds. It just adds a whole context and a storyline, and I really like that, you know? Now, Men at Work, is that the 80s group? And Astral says his family was from Aston, Birmingham, and there was HP Sauce Factory there in the afternoon, and the smell was quite powerful. You could taste it. Hey, Mr. Emmanuel, you're from Dublin. Isn't Bono from Dublin? I think so. I remember I knew this girl in college, and she said that Bono was her cousin. She was from Ireland, and I believed her. She had no reason to lie. Wendy. Now, right behind her are a couple of signs, and maybe we could hit that dark a little bit. So I'm going to stop playing around with that. I'm going to get illustration black right here, and I'm just going to put that on my wet palette. And I'm going to mix that. Doesn't want to come out. Here we go. Wendy says she likes my paintings of men, would wallpaper her room with them. That's funny. Well, I found out long ago to paint a woman correctly, you have to know how to paint a male. Because they're two sides of the same coin, you know? And so it's very important to both do both. And my female nudes, they help my male nudes, and my male nudes help my female nudes. You know, to get the strength and the dignity and the monumentality from the male nudes, and then put that in the female nudes, and then the grace from the female nudes to the male nudes. Wow, Mr. Gary says he just purchased David Bowie from Ink Flingers. Oh man, that's incredible, my friend. Thank you so much. Oh, that is such an honor. Thank you, sir. That is just incredible. And I just got to make sure which painting that was. Oh, you're going to love it. Yes, yes, you're going to love that painting. And I'm so glad you purchased that, and I'm going to get that out to you as soon as possible. Plus a really beautiful gift as well. So thank you for collecting my work, Mr. Gary. That is so amazing and such an honor. And I'm just like really excited right now. Thank you, sir. That is just so cool. And Gary, thank you from the bottom of my heart. That really helps me out in so many ways. And it's such an honor to have you as a collector of my work. I mean, honestly, that is such a huge honor. And so, how cool is that? That is just so great. And I'm going to give you a really, really nice gift as well, as from appreciation from me. David Bowie is just incredible to paint, isn't he? You know, I mean, Emmanuel says he does classical oil reproductions with modern references in them. Oh, wow, that's amazing. So, would you consider yourself a realist, Emmanuel? And if you are, like, what artists, you know, of the old masters really, you know, really kind of inspire you? And Gary says that makes you the 16 artists collecting from. Oh, wow. That's great. 16 is a good number. I'm honored. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So this is great. And oh, a realist, Bouguereau and Caravaggio. You know, it's so interesting. I was, you know, those are two really great painters right there. I was just reading and watching videos on Bouguereau that what makes his work so realistic is that the values are very compressed, meaning like if we look at it like her legs, I see a lot of different values in her legs. I see the whole dynamic range. How Bouguereau might handle it is that he would have all the values a lot closer, so, and they would be right next to each other, and you would feel her leg turn more. And that's like really, really interesting, you know? And so that's exciting, you know? Oh, and Emmanuel said he just found Temu and he's spending all his money on it. Temu's amazing. First time I heard from about Temu was Mr. Cheese Grits and Nicro. Ah, Gary, so let's see, what did Gary say? Way to go, Gary, that's so cool. And so that's great, you know, thank you. Everyone is just so impressed, Gary. I appreciate you. But David Bowie is an incredible artist to paint. If you are looking for someone interesting, guys, to paint, David Bowie is really it. I've done like 3 different paintings of David Bowie, and just amazing, every one of them, as far as just interesting and fun, you know? Talking about Temu, right? The Freddie Mercury was tempting as well. I had fun painting that too, you know. Such a talented singer, right, Gary? Just incredible. I love the nature of doing the Airbrush and India ink paintings. They just have the Airbrush and India ink. It has like this greenish tint, you know, with my inks because the they're not made with acrylic. It's basically just carbon and a little tiny bit of shellac, and so it doesn't have the coldness that acrylics have, and it has a real kind of fine art feeling about it, you know. And Astral says, "Oh, look at that! Astral subscribed to Emmanuel. Very cool." And oh, thank you. Emmanuel says this is a cozy stream. Yes, you'll find that this is just like good friends, you know, and that's how it is, you know. And we're so glad you're here, and we hope to see you again and again when you have time, of course. And it's just, you know, we look forward to talking to each other and seeing how we're doing, and trying not to get COVID, right? That's the main thing, you know. I'll tell you. Now I did go over it a little bit, and I'll fix it. Look at the mistake I made. Uh, I make some doozies. See that right there? I'm going to go over it white later, but just let you know that, you know, I make terrible mistakes. So if ever you feel like you're the only one out there, it's 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 all of us. But me too. I'm liking it, you know. I'm liking that it's coming slowly. She's taking, you know, just like she's taking her time. The painting's taking her time, you know, and so that's so important. And oh, so that's cool. I'm gonna subscribe to you as well, Emmanuel. Uh, so that's gonna be great. And is it just Emmanuel Godson as well? So I'm gonna look forward to that. And it's great because, you know, with this black, I could really start to define things a little bit better. And then I can come back with the sepia, or I can come back with the uh, black magenta. Such a good color. I would pick it up with the detail. You really would like it. I mean, it's just fun to have. It's so different. So I think you'll enjoy it if you pick it up. Mr. Cheese Grits and Nykel says he can put on the wall next to the Krampus he wanted from Scott McKay. Oh wow! So let's see. So Cheese Grits and Nykel says you can put it on the wall next to the Krampus that he wanted from Scott McKay. Oh, you must have won that, huh, Mr. Gary? So cool. And Emmanuel says some people hate it, Astral, like he's a blasphemer, but I'm not. Let's see. Do I like Drew Blair? Drew Blair is a good friend of mine. I think he's just amazing. Uh, oh, here's a good thing you'll find, Emmanuel, is that I always used to take my airbrush apart after cleaning it, and I did pretty well. But then he said that maybe I should get rid of all the paint, keep spraying until all the water's clean, and then leave it overnight with the water. And believe it or not, I haven't been having to take my airbrush apart, and it's been a little more reliable than it was before, right? It was very reliable, and it's even a little bit more reliable, which is great, right? The reliability. But when I first started, Emmanuel, Drew was so cool to me. He answered so many of my questions. It's like 2009, 2010, and he was very supportive. It was funny because when I came into the airbrush world, I was already established in pastel, right? you know, signature member of the Pastel Society of America, a member of the Allied Artists of America, and, you know, studied classically. And then when I came into Airbrush, the Airbrush guys were like, why are you doing this? You guys don't come into this world. And it was very funny, you know. Uh, oh, Emmanuel says that he used to leave his airbrush submerged in water between sessions. It didn't stop the blockage though. Oh, okay. Were you doing like t-shirts or something? Um, oh, great. So Emmanuel loves Drew. So yeah, you know, he's such a good guy. You know, I have nothing to say bad about him. He's just been just 100% straight up guy. I would love to take one of his classes, you know. One of these days I'm going to go down to South Carolina, hang out, take the class. That's going to be great. So that would be exciting. So I look forward to that. And yeah, it's just, you know, money's tight, right? That stinks. Oh, I hit the wrong button. So this one, and we'll get that one. There we go. And Wendy says she wished she would not have taken the freehand class, wish she would have done the female portrait. The female portrait is an amazing course. Everyone says that. And that's really cool. I'm going to look for something. Okay, found it. Okay, so things are going really good. We are at the 11:04, so we have 26 minutes, and I want to finish it off with a bang. And so I have the black here, and we're going to continue trying to create some contrast and interest in the background, which we are kind of lacking right now. So let's go back here, and so I have this 1 second rule, and the 1 second rule is if you're going to paint for a second, make sure you look at your reference for a second. And that's just a ratio. So if you're going to paint for 3 seconds, make sure you look at your reference for 3 seconds, that sort of thing. And let's see, Wendy says, Emmanuel says, he said he was going to do the color buffer theory class for mixing oil paint. Oh, really? Oh, Drew, that's really cool. That would be great. And, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think whatever Drew does, he could transfer that into any medium, you know? And Mr. Dave says, take the Blair class and stay on campus. The Columbia, South Carolina studio is good, but completely different experience than the Blair. So definitely want to go with the Blair campus, I hear, right? Because it's more personal. Is that true? Oh, wow. So I'm going to be hitting this kind of trim here of the door. I'm going to make it black. And it kind of creates an interest and balance it out, everything. Attention to her kind of balances it out. And then I could bring this black color down here. Yes, I definitely want to, because I always see the pictures of the Blair uh, location. That's definitely where I would go. So I'm going to put this stark dark color here, and then, you know, we can always calm it down with the sepia later. Ryan says he would love to take one of Drew's workshops. Yeah, you know, they're really transformative, and that's so cool. And Wendy says she likes it. She doesn't think she likes the school as much as you have to stay at a hotel. Kind of miss painting when you wanted. Oh, so when you're at Blair, you have like your room is right there by the studio, which is good. And Emmanuel says, "Hey Wendy, what does a kitten have to have when she can't sleep and can't stop eating? She has insomnom." That's funny. Ooh, let me get a swig of water here. Oh, sleeping next to the studio. That's cool. So I'm liking the fact that we're getting some nice darks here. And you know, I know there's more exciting things to paint. I have an oil painting going. You know, I have, uh, you know, some paintings at different stages. But I wanted to impart today that it's important to stick with the stuff that isn't always that exciting, you know, like backgrounds. But it's super imperative to work the background like a supporting actor, right? Not exactly the star, but it makes the star look good, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to do is make her look good by having things around her that looks just as good. And Mr. Greg says, David says, he didn't paint late. He stayed at the dining room building and stayed there after dinner. More conversation and quieter early than the studio building. Oh wow, so cool. Probably had good conversation with Drew and uh, and the fellow students, right? And Samantha. And Mr. Patrick says, Tim, thank you for a great feed as usual. Patrick, have a great night, and I hope to talk to you soon. Definitely, we're going to talk about the next class, so we're going to make that happen. And Wendy says, I think she has taken the classes back to Blair, South Carolina. Oh, wow. Okay. Very interesting. So, you know, Drew is, I mean, I think Drew Blair, as far as Airbrush going, a lot of this wouldn't be happening. You know, he kind of brought it to the next level, and it helped all of us out. You know, he was on TV for crying out loud in Japan, remember? And that was amazing. And he was also on, uh, I think, an automobile repair hot rod uh, episode. So before the background was looking kind of wispy and everything, it still is, but little by little, I'm bringing attention to the background. Now here, I have to worry about my hand going on the wet paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blow some air on here. Now underneath her feet, underneath her seat, we have this, but I'm going to do that later with the ruler because that definitely seems like something I have to be super, super careful about. So cool to see Patrick today. Okay, so now we're getting a nice sense of direction. And again, we just want to make her feel like she's at a real place, even though I'm not sure where this subway is from. Now, it's okay to turn it around, you know, we don't have to keep it right side up, especially when you're working small like I do. I work small because I want to show you all the process, right? So I can't do that. She's looking good upside down, so it's the first time I'm looking at it upside down, and I'm actually quite happy with it. And I'm going to extend the black up, but I'm just going to establish it. It's just going to give some nice contrast. Put her in an environment where she belongs, you know, like she belongs in the environment. Oh, cool. So Dave says genuine. I think you're talking, referring to uh, Mr. Blair's courses, his in out there in South Carolina. I know he's having lots of rain right now due to Tropical Storm Debbie. So I hope his school is okay. Saying a little prayer for him that everything's okay. We've been getting crazy amounts of rain because of it. Oh, Drew, yes, he is very, I agree, very genuine guy, and always willing to help. And, you know, anyone who knows him knows that, you know, he's just a very helpful guy. Michael says he's fallen asleep. Good night this weekend. He'll be working on the open range portrait. Oh wow, that's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see the textures that you're gonna do. That is fantastic, sir. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for hanging out, sir. I super appreciate you, and you know, and definitely will be getting that Extreme Patriot 105 pretty soon. I should be getting a shipment from Badger very shortly because Mr. Ken is back from his. He went to a wargaming convention, so he's back. So that means we'll be getting those parts for you. Oh, Dave says his first introduction to Drew, he sat down and started talking, kind of geeked out, like, really, you're talking to me? The whole experience had a powerful impact. That is so cool. Yeah. Yeah, he's so down to earth, isn't he? That's the thing. You know, this guy is amazing. Did you guys see it was such a great conversation. It was actually a conversation. I did an interview with Drew. It's on my it's on my YouTube channel, and it was just like hanging out, talking about art with him. It was a lot of fun. It was a great, and I have one with Steve Leahy, and that was a lot of fun too. I enjoyed my interview with Steve Leahy. Yes, very personable gentleman, and immensely talented, like monumentally talented. Ooh, gotta be careful I don't smudge that. Oh, Ryan says he saw me. Very cool. Oh, you saw that video. The oh yeah, that learned so much about Drew and his work. It really is a very good interview. So definitely check that one out, and also the one with Mr. Leahy. Really great. Ah, thanks, Astral. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun. So I've been living the life of a full-time artist for the past since 2017, off and on till around 2019, and then from 2019 full on full-time artist. And I'll tell you, it's amazing. I mean, I get to hang out and talk about art during the day, and get to work and uh, hone my craft and not have to have a regular full-time job. But it's been rough. There's definitely a price to it, you know. Um, it's not for the faint at heart, And when you're a broke artist, you're not exactly, you know, let's just say my dance card has not been filled. But that's okay. You make those because you believe in what you do, right? And I believe in everyone's work here. You believe in what you do, and you don't know what's going to happen, but you know something's going to happen. You just don't know what it is, and you just have to stay true and just follow that path, whatever it leads you. Yes. Oh, that's such a great quote. All love comes with a price. Yes. Romantic love. You know, for uh, for love of country, and you're right. Uh, the passion that whatever it is your vocation is. Such a great quote. It's so true. And those who know, right? And that's it. One of the great things is that I'm able to fan the flames of of somebody's someone who thought they didn't have it anymore, or you know they were bored with art and anything, and they told me that I kind of got them excited about it again. And then it's like all worth it, right? Everything kind of, all the struggles, you kind of forget about it, and you're like, holy cow, this is what I'm meant to do, because I can't affect people like that doing something else. So I'm meant to do this. And with that being said, I want to stick with it and keep going. So we are starting to get, a lot more detail and stuff like that. Right here, it's going to look really strong, but I'm going to put this kind of over here, and then we're going to bring this black all the way up here. And we can use bigger brushes, and this is and you'll like this, Emmanuel, is that we use bigger brushes just like an oil painter does. And a lot of times we as airbrush artists, when we do paintbrush techniques, we're using little brushes. So let's use a big brush and kind of do a large swath. Swath, is that the word? Much easier that way. And Astral says loves art, but he's easily distracted. Yes, that's all of us, right? But the thing is, we have to. Well, no, we don't have to, but it's always good to try and get those immovable blocks of time where we just dedicate to our art. That's the goal, I think, for me. It's interesting how the large brush reacts as opposed to the small brush. Kind of holds the paint differently. I have several friends who are incredible watercolor painters, and just like, there are airbrush artists who are just incredible, they just have incredible control. And I really feel that the watercolor painters are the ones that have the most incredible control with paintbrushes, regular paintbrushes. Just really incredible. Oh, great. So you see how now just doing that dark there really puts things in context. And I can get a little more bold here now that I have that dark there. I'm still going to do some of my Persephone in the Subway series, but she's not Persephone. We'll turn her around. There we go. So that's not bad, not bad. And let's deepen the shadow here above her head. Yes, it's not easy, as far as there are some really good audiobooks on focus, which is really good. Just want to say thank you so much for the super chats. You all are just so amazing. I am really touched. Thank you so much, Gary, for purchasing David Bowie. That's just out of this world. Right here, we're going to kind of put it like that. Over here, not sure what that is. That's okay, we don't have to be sure of everything. Actually, I'm sure of very little. Let's see here, we have this dark right here. And now I feel pretty good. I feel like everything else was kind of wispy, and now all of a sudden I can do some trims with some white, and really bring things forward. Having some bright lights and some nice trim, that could work out well for me. I like working with the big brush. It's 11:26, however, if I'm feeling well, I always love giving you the full 2 hours. That's if I'm feeling well. And today I'm feeling good, so. on this back door. Now I work horizontal, and a lot of you are like, oh my god, I can't believe you work horizontal. I was trained in art school to work vertical, with easels and everything. I didn't start working horizontal uh, in my professional life until I started doing YouTube videos, because I had to have the overhead camera and teach it and all of that. So that's pretty much where that happened. So I started doing that probably around 2016, and now I can't paint the other way. I can. Brad, have a great night, sir. Always a pleasure. It's great to see you all the way from Nipawar, Canada. So great you're here, my friend. Have a great night. And I could actually come in with this, this illustration black and really just get some really nice dark accents. So a lot's going on, just in a very, overall method. So it's still a little slow, as far as, the progression. But I think today was a big day as far as getting a lot done. A lot of good decisions with the background, and make her feel like she's on the subway. Wow, Brad, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. That is so great. Have a great night, Brad. Right under the gun at 11:29. That is too cool. Thank you, and I appreciate you. Can I do the like button on that? Sometimes it allows us to hit the heart on it. I guess I got to do it like really fast. Let's see. So guys, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much, Gary, for purchasing David Bowie. What an honor. And thank you, Dave Gregory, for the wonderful super chat, and Brad and Michael. You guys are just amazing. Gary, for the wonderful super chat, and for all of you all to hang out. It's great to see you for the first time. Mr. Emmanuel, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hope to see you next week if you can make it. And everyone in Canada and Ireland and the UK, Astral, you guys are all amazing. And girls, thank you, Wendy. Happy belated birthday. You are all so amazing. Thanks so much for making this a memorable night for me. And little by little, we're going to get her done together. And then I'm going to tell you, my experiences of glazing or varnishing the painting at the end. So that will be next week. So talk to everyone soon. Take care of yourselves. And once again, thanks for everything.